Hello, and welcome to what I like to affectionately call the theater! No, go back. Now, come on. Now, we will be looking at a production of Guys and Dolls, specifically the song Havana. We would like to talk about the different elements dealing with this song. Now, what are those elements again?
Timbre, rhythm, dynamics, melody, texture, harmony, and form.
And now that we know all about the different elements, we would like to delve deeper into each element and tell you all about how they affect this song.
This past February, we did a show here at Clemson University called Guys and Dolls by Frank Lesser. This show was written in the 50s, so all of the music was very classical, very legato, very smooth, except for this one song, Havana. At this point in the musical, a very religious, very Christian, conservative woman named Sarah Brown has just fallen for a high gambler, Sky Masterson. So they go to Havana over, I don't know, I guess you would say it's a bribe. I would say a bribe. She goes and they're there and everything's new and very exotic, and it's definitely present in the music. While everything before was very classical and smooth, this has a giant Latino flair to it. Tons of percussion, tons of brass, tons of just every instrument you can think of, which is something new. So the timbre of this piece, I would say, is very upbeat, very bright, kind of flamey, I guess if you could say, just very sassy. Everything is very choppy. There's little solos in it. It's really interesting.
I am currently sitting on a massive hydraulic lift that serves as the orchestra pit. When it is needed, this entire surface lowers down and makes way for all of the instruments you have or are about to see. Now let's talk about the rhythm of this piece. It starts out with short accented beats from the percussion into a more interesting rhythmic sequence when the brass comes in. The tempo varies from the upbeat intro to a slower progression when Sarah is introduced to the scene and she becomes intoxicated, and back to a quicker tempo for the dancing and fight. And as the fight begins, the rhythm changes into a more steady beat. In terms of dynamic, it starts out nice and loud as the audience takes in Havana for the first time as a forte-loving avenue of dancing and frivolity. The dynamic softens as Sarah and Sky enter the scene and begin to explore Cuba. As the fun picks up on stage, meaning as Sarah has one too many and starts dancing with the saucy club boys, so does the music. The music stays pretty steady and dynamic as the fight breaks out and climaxes.
The melody from this piece is simply awe-inspiring. From the up and down shape to the rallying repetition, it is not hard to appreciate the true beauty and majesty of the melody. This piece also takes advantage of the use of cadences to represent new events, characters, and scenes. The melody is not all fun and games, however. The piece takes advantage of textual elements to portray serious real-life issues, such as food and drink.
The harmony is often stacked in this piece. The bottom is made up of the percussion, the piano, or any lower registered instrument. The middle is the woodwinds, and the top is the brass. This piece is mainly consonant. It is most consonant when the orchestra pit is all playing the same thing, and the
Choreography
is all the same. When Sarah becomes drunk and the music is slower, the playing becomes lazy, especially in the strings, and the sound becomes dissonant. It is also dissonant during the bar fight outbreak. The music follows everything that is occurring on stage, and the movements on stage are also choreographed around the music. What I mean by this is the music hints at what is supposed to happen on stage through the shifts of the different elements. The form of this piece is a spicy Latin salsa. Shh. Okay, I have to go. The show is on.
The texture of this piece is a true musical wonder. The vertical components of this piece have led me to believe that it is polyphonic. The music has polyphonic characteristics that could rival the polyphonic ways of the great and late J.S. Bach. Some may argue that this piece is the ultimate manifestation of polyphonic music.
That's high praise.
Well, let's take a trip down to the orchestra pit, shall we?